Welcome back to Julie's Wreath Boutique. This week, we're going to make a beautiful ruffled yarn wreath. And I saw this wreath originally in my group, Wreath Creators and More, by Janie Bishop. She makes a beautiful wreath, and I'm going to show you her version, but I'm going to do a little bit of a twist on mine just because I kind of ran out of the right supplies because we moved. So I hope you enjoy this, and thank you, Janie, for sharing your techniques with us. So welcome back to Julie's Wreath Boutique. I'm so excited to share this wreath. I've been wanting to share this wreath with you for probably a month now, but because I've had other projects that I had to complete and get to you guys on a certain time basis, I've had to put this off. And this is the first Christmas project of the season, and I am just in love with this idea. Now, first of all, this idea did not come from me. This came from one of my followers and one of my members of my group, Wreath Creators and More, Janie Bishop. Janie, thank you for sharing your talent and how you made this beautiful double yarn wreath with the ruffle. It is absolutely beautiful. She doesn't have an Etsy page, guys, or a Facebook business page, but she's just an avid crafter who is so gifted. So will you make sure that you say thank you to Janie down in the comments below, because I want to make sure that we share some love for sharing this idea with us, okay? Part of this is I'm gonna put my own little twist on it, but let's get started. We're gonna have this chunky white yarn that I got from Hobby Lobby. I think you can get it from even Walmart and JoAnns, anything that you love as far as yarn. It doesn't have to be exactly this. It can be a smaller size of yarn. It's totally up to you. And then you're going to need a sign. Now this sign is about 8 inches in diameter, and this one did come from Hobby Lobby. Now I had a hard time finding a sign for this project just because I wanted to make sure that it fit in my frame. Now the frames that I'm using, I originally got one from Hobby Lobby, but the center was a little bit bigger. So when I went by JoAnns, they had this 12-inch frame, and as you can see, it's going to fit perfectly on this. So I think you could get away with the 12-inch from Hobby Lobby or Michael's, but I'm going to use this one. It's the Bloom Room brand. And then I'm going to use just a Dollar Tree wreath form. So we're going to put this all together. So this is 14 inches, this is 12 inches. And I really think you could probably almost maybe use a 16-inch, depending if it would overlap or not. So we're going to get started, and I'm so excited to show you this project. So let's get started by wrapping the first frame. Now, what Janie did with her original wreath was she just wrapped both frames with yarn. She did some fall ones, and she did different colors. I'm going to keep it all white here, but I just cut off some yarn from my big skein here, and we're going to take some ribbon. Now, this was not in Janie's original wreath, but I thought, you know what? I've been wanting to try this, and when it was really popular and everybody was doing it, I was in the middle of moving. So what I'm going to do, my friend has a full tutorial on this. This Southern Girl can. I will link it in the description box below, and you can go watch her tutorial as well. So I'm going to take my ribbon here, and we are just going to take our glue gun here. And I love the SureBonder cordless glue gun, and I'm just going to lay a little bit of glue. I don't have to put a lot on here, just so that we can get this started. So I'm just going to lay that right there. All right, and let that set up. I'm going to make sure that it's in the middle of this frame, so I'm going to move it over a little bit. Just move it over. There we go. I think that's good. But we're going to add a little bit something extra, okay? So now that we've done that, I'm going to take my ribbon here, or my yarn. I'm going to flip it over. And where that glue was, I'm going to add the yarn. And let's just go ahead and add a little bit more glue, okay? Just a few spots, just to get it started. That's all we need, okay? Oops, I'm going to flip it back over. So what we're going to do is we are going to go over it 2 times, all right? 1, 2. All right. Then I'm going to take my ribbon. You know what? I'm just going to cut a good piece that I know is more than long enough off of this. All You know that should be plenty, all right? So we're gonna do 2. And then when we come back under, I'm gonna take the ribbon and we're gonna lay it this way. And we are going to go 1, 2, let's move that, 3, and we're going to do a 4th loop, okay? And then I'm just going to lay the ribbon on top of that. Now you're going to take your ribbon and you're going to go this way with it. Everybody was making these this summer when I was moving. I was like, oh, I don't have the time, I can't get to this. So I'm glad to kind of incorporate it with this wreath tonight. So now we're going to go 1, 2, okay? All right, and I'm gonna just kind of move my ribbon this way, all right? Now we're gonna move it over and we're gonna do this 4 times. And you're just gonna keep repeating this pattern over and over till you get to the end. Now, if we get to the end and we don't have that many that work together, it's okay because we're gonna have a bow for this. So just keep going and repeat the same process. I'm so excited to finally get to try this concept that I know was made popular by a crafter on Pinterest, and I'm so excited to be able to share it. And I would love to know who she is, but let's see. So we need 4 here. That's right. And I will be right back and we will work on the next step of this wreath. All right, so here I ran out of, I keep calling it ribbon. It's not ribbon, it's yarn. Okay, so I'm gonna take another piece. I cut it too short, so I couldn't tie it together, but I would probably just tie it together. Or you could even take a zip tie here, like so, and just connect it this way. So tie it, either use glue, whatever you wanna do. Nobody's gonna see the back of this. And just keep going and finish your first part of your wreath. Okay, so before we move on, we are gonna set our sign up here. And I think that this is wide enough that I can use my Fiskars staple gun. Now listen, if you want any of my craft supplies, go to the description box below. You'll find my Amazon link. Everything is always listed there. So here's the key. So here's my finished product, and as you can see, I had a little part here. I could have added more ribbon, but I didn't. That's where our bow is going to be. So this is the top of our wreath. So, but I also want to be sure, so I'm going to flip this over and know that that's the top of our wreath. Now, we have brackets in this wreath form. So I know that this is the top, okay? So let's just turn this over. Yep, that looks really good. That was the perfect size. So now I'm just going to kind of feel in here for where those brackets are. Okay, so there's one bracket here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my pipe cleaner and let's see if this works. Okay, did it get it? Nope, it didn't get it. That's okay. Oh, it did come through. Okay. Well, I'm not going to do that again. But you know what? It didn't go through all the way, and I'm going to be able to do that. So what would I do differently? Okay, what I would do differently is I would just glue this on here. We'll do it on this side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find that cross bracket and run this pipe cleaner through it so it will anchor. Okay, come on, Julie. It will anchor our sign here, okay? So we got to do it on this side, and then we need to go find the other side. And you know what? Crafting sometimes gives you difficulties, and I don't want you guys to think, Julie just does it so easy peasy. Nope. Sometimes a pipe cleaner wants to be difficult like it is right now. Okay, there we go. I think the problem is it's the same color as the yarn. Maybe that's it. I'm going to keep pulling that. Okay, there we go. I'm going to flip it over, make sure we're still, yep, we're still where we need to be. Okay, and then I'm just going to twist this like so, okay? Okay, so on this side, you can take a piece of pipe cleaner. The cross bracket, I just felt it. Where did it go? It's right here. So we'll just put this here. You can put some glue on it. You know what? I'm not going to do that. And then you would just glue your piece of felt down. But because we're so close here, I'm just going to try not to put this through all the way, which I did not. So that's still good enough. And then do the exact same thing that I just did. And then tie your sign really tight here. And then we can go to the next step. You know how Julie likes to change her mind? Well, I know this is going off of the trajectory of the way Janie does hers, but Janie had more this shape of wreath form, and my problem is that if I put this over top of this, you can still see it, okay? But by the time I put the ribbon on here, you're not gonna see much of the white yarn. So what I'm thinking is that she probably used more of a 16-inch frame with the 12-inch. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna work with what I have. So you can do it this way. You could do, if you had a smaller wreath or sign. I also, guys, thought, you know, you could take a decorative paper plate for the holidays. You could take a really pretty Christmas bag and cut out the circle in it. I just didn't have a lot of options today. They didn't have everything out at my craft stores yet for Christmas, so I was a little limited. So if I was to do this again and it was closer to the holidays, like in a few weeks, I would get a really pretty Christmas bag. I would cut out the picture, whatever I wanted to use, and it would be so much cheaper. Or even one of the pretty paper plates. So you don't have to go with a sign, you can do something else. But so what I'm gonna do is I went downstairs and all I had were these dome wreath forms. So we're gonna give this a try. We're gonna give it a try. This is a, let's see, this is a 16-inch. So as you can see, that's gonna be a pretty big wreath, and then we're going to add our ruffles like Janie did. Okay, so at this point I'm just going to use this is what I have. I got this from the Wreath shop. Again, if you haven't known, I moved, we're building a studio and it's just not ready, so everything is still in boxes. So I'm kind of like crafting out of my guest room right now. So this is a 14-inch, this is a 16-inch. You can get them at the Wreath shop. All you're going to do is wrap this. This is pretty easy. I'm going to start it right here, take a little zip tie, and you could even tie it, but I'm just gonna take a zip tie and you're just gonna wrap it. There's nothing technical about how to do this one at all. We're not gonna do the ribbon method that we just did. We're just gonna keep rolling it around and wrapping it until it's all complete. So I'm just gonna do this part and then I'll be right back and we will work on the next step. Okay, that's how much ribbon, I keep calling it ribbon. This is how much yarn I had left. So literally one of those big skeins or whatever you call it. Tell me in the comments how to say it. I'm not a crocheter, people. So I covered it. I just used zip ties. You can't see it because of the white ribbon yarn. Julie, come on, Julie. So I just use zip ties, okay? So you could even, if you wanted to, you could even do this. I think that would be really pretty and you could call it a day, but we're not gonna do that. We're gonna take it a step further. And this is where Janie's brilliant idea came in. All right, so there's two ways you can do this. You can do this, I will list a video below in the description box of how I took ribbon and I pulled, you could pull the one end and you can kind of ruffle ribbon. Did you know that? You can do that, but that's not what we're gonna do. So there's two ways to do it. You can do that. So I'll leave that video in the description box below. Check it out, how to ruffle ribbon by pulling the one wire, okay? But Janie did something even more brilliant, and I'm going to do what she did. You're gonna get your sewing needles out. Listen, I'm not a seamstress. I'm gonna pretend to be one right now. And she basically just, let's cut this. Let's get this nice and straight here. So she basically just did folded pleats and she pinned it to the frame here, okay? So you know what a folded pleat is. You're just gonna go back and forth. So I'm just gonna take a pin and I'm going to go through and pin these. Oh, let's see, here we go. These are long pins. I wonder if I could go all the way. And basically we're gonna keep it to this edge, and then we're just gonna pull back, and that's going to create this ruffle for us, okay? And you're just gonna keep taking these pins. Oops, don't get yourself like I just did there. Okay, oops, come up, there we go. See if I can go through all there. I almost went through that next part. All right, so you're just gonna go through here, and I'm just using my finger to kind of go back and make these pretty ruffles, okay? So do this part, and then when you come back, I'm gonna show you how we're gonna sew this into our wreath. Okay, I got the biggest needle and the biggest eye I could find. I'm not ashamed to admit that I needed it so that I could see. So I did not put a knot at the end of this, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because we're gonna go through the actual, I'm gonna find a spot here, frame. I'm gonna go through it, and then I'm gonna tie it together. Because this is yarn, I just wanna make sure that it stays put, okay? So I'm just gonna tie my little knot right now. And that's what I'm gonna do. Okay. So after you got your little knot tied up, okay, I'm gonna flip that. Let me show you. It's pretty simple. It's easy peasy. At this point, you could do one of two things. You could sew it like I'm gonna do. This is the way Janie told me to do it. Or you could glue it. But honestly, I think this is gonna hold a lot better. So you're just going to, I'm trying to do it so that you can see it. I'll probably hold it a little differently, but you're gonna just take it and you're just gonna start making stitches. You don't need to make real tight stitches, just enough to keep this ribbon on our wreath, okay? So we're gonna go down in, and then I'm gonna come up. I'm gonna go down the next fold and come up. Pretty easy, all right? We're not gonna see this part, and so wherever it's folded, I'm just gonna run a stitch there, and that's it. Again, this does not have to look pretty, because remember, we are going to have this on top, like so, all right? Look how pretty that's gonna be, all right? So I can take these little pins out as I go here, but just keep doing this. Go down, don't stab yourself like I just tried to. Go in, and I'm not even going, honestly, I'm not even going around the frame. I'm just going in the yarn. Okay, and then down again. And then when you put this up, it's not gonna go anywhere. Okay, so now you can see we've stitched it in, so it's gonna stay. If you want, you can just be done with that, and you can connect your two wreaths, make a bow, and have a beautiful wreath. But I'm gonna take it a little step farther, okay? Because I love this technique that Janie did, and I'm gonna take it a little bit further just because I want to. All right, so I'm gonna take this one, put it to the side. We're gonna flip this one over. And then I'm gonna take this red velvet ribbon that I got here, and we're gonna use it in the same way, all right? So basically what I'm gonna do is I'm going to do it on the edge. We're gonna do it a little bit opposite here, okay? We're gonna do it on the edge here. And so when we get our little pleat made, we're gonna go over and start making our other pleat. And so this is the back of the ribbon that I'm dealing with, and you want to stay to as close to the edge as you possibly can, okay? Just move it down in there. Is it gonna come? I think I'm by the, there we go. All right. And then just keep doing the same process. And then you're going to, let me just show you real quick. All right, so I'm gonna try to do a close-up of this part here so you can see it. So I went through on that side, and I came back on this side. Remember, I kept it the same color as the yarn. And then this is how we're gonna start it off, okay? And then this is how we'll make our knot. And we'll just tie that real quick. 2 little slip knots. Oops. I left one of the strings there, but it should be good. It should be good. Okay. And then you're just going to keep going down and up, okay? Same method, it's just a little bit trickier because, oops, I got this all caught on my little pins here. All right, make sure you don't get it caught. And again, this is me being a little extra. You don't have to do this part if you don't want to, but I just thought, why not try it so then that way you can see what it would look like. All right, and just keep going around as you go through. You're gonna go through double, see both of those layers there, go through a piece of the yarn. Again, it's not gonna show because we're using the same thread as the yarn. So just do this part and we'll be right back. Okay, so here is, so basically you have one wreath that has all the ruffles on it, and then you have this wreath. Remember, you don't have to do this step. I was just being extra, and I liked how it matched the one gnome's little hat there. So basically what we're gonna do, and I think if I had looked at this a little bit more in depth, I would have looked to see if I could get some red and white ribbon. That would have been super cute too. Now, my ruffle here is not quite perfect, but that's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect. So let's connect the two of these. So we're just going to flip this over, all right? And then you're just gonna take some zip ties. I'm thinking 3 will probably be enough here. And I'm going to take it and go through the one part of the frame here, the bottom, or the inside circle is I guess what I want to call it. Okay, all right. And then I'm going to go through this part. You shouldn't be able to see this because when you have them together so closely, it should work out really good. So let's just pull that really good. We'll cut that. Let's just flip it over. Okay, I think that's good. All right. Okay, I'm gonna push it up a little bit. All right, so I want it to kind of go there. I'm gonna push it up, and then I'm going to, where my fingers are, I'm going to find another spot for it to go through. I'm gonna pull that really good. So let's flip it over. Let's see, we're a little lopsided. That's okay. We're gonna move her over here. I'll move him over. And I think just by doing that, that's basically enough. I'm gonna pull my little ribbons and fix those. So right now, I think that's good, guys. That's not going anywhere. So right now I'm going to we're gonna make a little bow here. And we're gonna keep it pretty simple because we're just gonna use the red and white striped bow here. So let's just start on the bow, and I think this is looking super cute. Okay, this is gonna be really easy, guys. You've heard of my zip tie bow if you've been watching me any length of time. I have a bow video, and I'll link that down below too. So we're gonna just start our ribbon tails off at 9 inches. I'm not sure that we're gonna even use the tails, but I always like the option, okay? So we're just gonna keep it pretty simple, and we're gonna do I wanna do another 9 inches, okay? So that's where I come through here, and I'm just going to make my little loop here. I'm going to measure another 9 inches on my board, bring it back, okay? Do that one more time on both sides here. Come back. It's okay. If our ribbon likes to do this, don't worry. We're gonna be able to fix it. It just wants to be a little difficult. That's all right. Okay, and then one more 9-inch length. We're gonna come back and cut another 9-inch for our tail. Again, I'm not even sure if I'm gonna use this tail. We're gonna see, okay? So what I do is I take this, and I'm gonna take a zip tie, and I'm gonna go over top of the middle here, okay? And this is why it's called the zip tie bow, because I use zip ties to make it all come together, okay? So there's that bow. And then you're just going to, you know, fluff up your little ribbons, okay? Then you're gonna take your other ribbon here. Let's see, we're gonna take this, and again, we're going to just, oops, that's not very good. Make about a 9-inch tail. Again, I don't think we're gonna use that much. And then we're gonna go 7 inches here. All right, that's why I use this mat so much. So do 2 with these, okay, and cut a 9-inch tail. Yeah, I'll just cut that, all right? Now, oops, you're gonna put it over top of that one. Take another zip tie, and I'm gonna look, this might be all we need, okay? And I'm going to, oops, gotta put that the right way. I'm gonna grab a pipe cleaner, and we're gonna run it in between there so we can put it in our wreath here. And then you're gonna cut your ends off. And then I'm gonna just make your little ribbons pretty. I'm gonna take a little bit of this red ribbon that we have here, and you could add more. So let's just look at this. Is this gonna be big enough? Yeah, I think that's all we need. I'm gonna take a length of this. I'm gonna cut that off. I'm gonna cut off the wire here so that it's not so bulky, and I'm gonna just wrap it around the middle. And you guys have seen me do this many times, okay? I'm gonna fold it together like so and bring it over the top, and then that makes such a pretty little bow, doesn't it? Flip it over, and then this is where we're going to take our pipe cleaner and we're gonna twist it really good, okay? You can even go like this, add a little bit of glue to make your little edges. If you want to just make sure they don't come out. I'm gonna trim this one some. And that is an easy bow. At this point, you could glue this on. I'm not gonna glue it on because we have a pipe cleaner. So let's just let that set. Let's take our wreath here, and I'm just gonna go find a spot right there that I can go down into my wreath, and then I'll flip it over, all right? And we will twist it on the back. Now you're probably saying, Julie, how are we gonna hang this? Well, we're gonna do a couple of things here. Just take a, let's see. Oh, I gotta clip this off, don't I? Clip that off. You can take another zip tie and find the very top. Let me make sure we're at the very top. Yep. The top is right here. And we can run it through here like so. And run it back. And there you got a little place to hang it, okay? So, all right, I think this is super cute. Janie, thank you so much for sharing with us how you did your wreath. I know I changed it a little bit, but sometimes you gotta use what you have, right? And I figured it's Christmas, I need more ribbons. So let's go over really quick what supplies we use. So we use 1 skein of the chunky yarn. We use the Skein, it's 8 inches from Hobby Lobby, but again, you could use a gift bag and cut out a round piece, or you could use, what was the other thing I thought of? like a paper plate, like the inside of a large paper plate that has a design. You could do that too. We use one roll of this, I believe it's 10 yards. Let me see here, 30 feet. Yeah, 10 yards of the ribbon from Hobby Lobby. So that's the red velvet, the red stripe, 2.5 inches. This is 1.5 inches, a 12-inch frame from JoAnns, a 16-inch arched frame I got from the Wreath shop. But listen, if you want to use a 16-inch regular wreath frame, just work with it and just make a beautiful wreath. I think it's great. You're going to need some zip ties, some hot glue, and you got a beautiful wreath. So if you've made it this far, please leave me something Christmassy in the comments. And thank Janie for sharing this idea with us. Again, I'm so thankful for you guys. You guys are what makes Julie's Wreath Boutique the best here, and I appreciate it, and I feel honored to even make Janie's wreath for you. So we will see you next Sunday night, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, every single Sunday night. See you later. Bye-bye.